Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott!
Hello everyone, welcome to Great Scott. Listen to me, friends. If you think Superman Returned was the worst Superman movie ever made, a film that shouldn't even have taken the time to put itself on celluloid, let me tell you something, friends. You are wrong. The problem with Superman Returns, obviously, for many people, is that Superman had a child, went away, came back, seemed to be somewhat of a stalker to some people. I contest, though, that he wasn't stalking, but just checking in, making sure Lois was okay, which he has always done, and which he does to the population on a regular basis. You could consider eavesdropping to be someone floating above the earth, listening to everything that's going on. However, if he didn't do that, and if 911 wasn't there to hear your personal problems, and if a passerby on the street didn't hear the woman getting beaten by a man who happened to be her boyfriend or husband, and didn't then intervene, perhaps she would have been killed. What am I saying? What I'm saying is, sometimes people have to put their noses into other people's business in order to make sure that those other people end up okay. And sometimes people are against that sort of behavior, but hopefully it turns out well in the long run. And I think in Superman Returns, it did. Superman went to see, make sure that Lois was okay, make sure everything was all right, found out that she was, and chagrined, flew away, saddened. People were also bothered by this. They called him a whiner, someone who pined away for something he couldn't have, although a better man and Richard won out. I don't think this was necessarily the case, but I will say that from the beginning I was stringently against Superman leaving the Earth for 5 years. Not because he might be an absentee father, because, let's face it, he did not know Lois was pregnant, and neither did she. And when he left, he left thinking that he was going to find Krypton. And I think that that was a necessary journey. However, since they didn't really cover it in detail in the movie, they just said he left because someone said that Krypton was out there. Reading behind the scenes, we find out that it was Lex Luthor who perpetuated the whole deed and made everyone think that there were possibly bits of Krypton, and because he was hoping that he could chase Superman away from the Earth, which worked. They didn't go into that in the movie. Also, I think on an emotional level, and I think thinking about the civilization that he was from and hoping that he could recontact with people, he was hoping to go back out into space and find remnants of Krypton. But I don't believe Superman, who loves this planet and wants to protect everyone on it, would go away unknowingly for 5 years and leave us to our own devices. You could say, well, we had survived up until he arrived. Sometimes there were disasters that he might have been able to avert or make less than what they were. But we were around, and people got through their day without Superman. So it could be said that it would be okay for him to leave or never to have been here because he wasn't to begin with, and now that he is, things are better, but if he goes away for a while, we'll have to get used to being alone again. But not really alone, just without Superman. But that was really the one sticking point for me. I also think it was somewhat of a mistake to introduce a child of Superman and Lois Lane, but not for some of the reasons that I hear. Some people say, a child out of wedlock, I have to turn my head to that movie. And to do that means that we're placing some sort of religious rules on Superman, and it's okay to have your own personal religious beliefs, obviously, but we've never seen Superman to be held to those. We've never seen him go to church. We've never seen him talk about religion, and I don't think it would be the right way to go with a character, unless you were specifically trying to attract that sort of a base to interest people in your religion by using a superhero that way. But to talk about having a child out of wedlock as being a problem for Superman means that we are introducing him to a religious set of values that he may or may not have. My problem with him having a child is the scientific implications, whether or not it could actually happen, and the fact that it introduces a whole new set of problems and plots that we're never going to explore, although we may have if there were sequels. Thanks for watching, everybody. This has been Great Scott. And remember, you are wrong.